Why are we here? What is the meaning of life? Two ancient questions, probably the two oldest unanswered questions in the history of mankind, and probably also the two most answered questions in the history of mankind. You see, there are as many answers to both of those questions as there are people in the world. Recently, I saw a post from Professor Anton, and a comment that he had made kind of helped me put this in perspective. He said that as a society, as a culture, our evolution has far outpaced our biological evolution. And I completely agree with that. And it brought to mind a comment that I had said on a video of someone else quite some time ago, which was ideas that insist on laying stagnant and not evolving, not changing, deserve their fate, and that fate is oblivion. And then I got to thinking, why should the two most ancient questions be exempt from that rule? Why should these two questions get to stay stagnant? Why should they be exempt from survival of the fittest? Now, I'm kind of bummed because I saw a video just here tonight that I guess Richard Dawkins had made several years ago, where he lays out kind of the same answers that I'm going to give, but I'll give them slightly differently. And there's something else that I think I would like to add to this to kind of bring it all together. So here goes. First, what is the meaning of life? Now, this is a very simple question to answer. All you have to do to answer this question is look at life. That's it. Ignore humans for a moment. We're not the only life in the world. Let's look at the animal kingdom. What is the meaning of being alive in the animal kingdom? Well, evolution shows us that the meaning of life is to continue the cycle of life. That's it. It's that simple. Organisms who are most suited to that end earn the right to continue existence. And organisms who fail at achieving that end suffer oblivion. So the meaning of life is to continue the cycle of life. That's it. Now, at first glance, maybe you're thinking, that's not a fair answer. That's not what we mean when we ask that question. Well, then let's say what we mean. Don't ask what is the meaning of life. In fact, that's actually a presumptuous question to ask in the first place, because it presumes that there is a meaning to life. But let's accept that presumption just for a second. And let's ask ourselves a more interesting question. What is the meaning of consciousness? Or is there a meaning to consciousness? Personally, I think there is. I think the meaning to consciousness, to self, to us, is to realize that there is no meaning to consciousness. Now, Richard Dawkins makes a really good point in the video that I was talking about, which I'll link in the sidebar for you so you can take a look at that. But he says that humanity has come to a point now where we can make decisions that go against our better interest. We're no longer compelled solely by the evolutionary desire to procreate, to continue the line. In other words, the meaning of life really no longer applies to us. The meaning of consciousness now applies to us. And that's what I mean when I say the meaning of consciousness is to realize that there is no meaning to consciousness. There is no intrinsic purpose in our consciousness. There is no intrinsic purpose in us being here. The purpose is for us to decide. And what could be more free than that? I don't think that we should be afraid of that concept. I think that we should embrace it. But again, we've not taken that far enough. This question needs to evolve more. So since there is no intrinsic meaning of consciousness, how about this question? What should the meaning of humanity be? Now that's a question that's relevant to our modern age. And that brings us to the second question. Why are we here? Well, why are we here? It's a pretty simple question to answer, really. We're here because 13 billion years or so ago, the universe began to expand and immediately began to evolve. It evolved from energy to matter, to atoms, to more complex atoms, to molecules, to more complex molecules, to life, to single-celled organisms, to multi-celled organisms, to multi-organ systems, to societies of multi-organ systems, and eventually, here we are. It's that simple. There's nothing magical about it. It's straightforward. So again, why should that question be exempt from the rule? Adapt to your environment or perish. We've answered the question. Let's come up with a new question. How about this one? Now that we are here, what should we do with ourselves? I think that might be a question worth discussion. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.